very good morning to the honorable adjudicators, precise timekeeper, my respected opponents on the opposition bench, respected comrades on the government bench, and members of the floor. Now, I am here today as the Prime Minister of the government bench to strongly agree with today's motion, which is smaller families are happier families. Now, moving on to the definition of today's motion, we on the government bench, we have limited the scope to Malaysia, only Malaysia, ladies and gentlemen. We have chosen to define today's motion based on the Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary. The word happier is defined as more fulfilled or satisfied, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we have based our definition of smaller families, the word smaller families, based on an annual report released by the Ministry of Women, Family, Community and Development by Dato' Rohani Abdul Rahim, states that the average amount of family members is 6. We believe that the fair way to define today's motion, will be 4, ladies and gentlemen. Why? Because it is a distinctive difference from the average amount of members. We believe this is the best way for us to have a debate on, ladies and gentlemen. I urge you to look back at the motion, ladies and gentlemen. Smaller families are happier families. The only word there is smaller, and it signifies size, ladies and gentlemen. The main argument of today's debate is the size of the family, nothing else. Therefore, other factors except size should not be debated on here. If we were to consider every small and remote factor, ladies and gentlemen, the debate will be taken way out of context. Thus, size and only size should be a contributing factor to happiness in a family. In this debate, ladies and gentlemen. Now, in a nutshell, today's motion means that families consist of 4 family members or less can be satisfied and fulfilled better. So, our stand as the government's bench today, ladies and gentlemen, is that smaller families are generally happier families. Size should be made the only manipulated variable. It only states that the size of the family, nothing else, ladies and gentlemen. Now, moving on to the roles of the speaker. The roles of the speaker today, ladies and gentlemen, of the government bench. Now, the Prime Minister, yours truly, has provided a definition and will also provide a point later on safety needs, ladies and gentlemen, and how by having a smaller family fulfill the need of the family better. The Deputy Prime Minister will rebut the opposition and give 2 points that are social needs and esteem or emotional needs, and how by having a small family fulfill those needs better. The government with the third speaker will then expertly diminish the opposition's points to bits or dust. Now, moving on, our points today will be based on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I would like to further explain what is exactly Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Now, I would like all of you here to visualize a pyramid, a 5-level pyramid, ladies and gentlemen. At the most bottom part, we have physiological. The second level is safety, which is my point later. And the third level being social, the fourth is esteem. Those are the points of the Deputy Prime Minister. And at the peak, we have self-actualization for all happiness attained. The levels have to be fulfilled in hierarchical order. First, in order for a person to be truly satisfied and to be truly fulfilled, gentlemen, happiness is not the destination. It is the journey. It is the byproduct. It cannot be obtained directly. When our physiological needs, social, emotional, are fulfilled, we achieve happiness for a long-term, gentlemen. Long-term happiness and not short-term. Now, the University of Illinois has conducted a study in 155 different countries between the year 2005 and 2010. It is proven right that all of these fulfillments in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, gentlemen, fulfill the needs strongly. All these fulfillment of needs strongly correlates with happiness, ladies and gentlemen. So this theory, this hierarchy of needs is proven right, ladies and gentlemen. Now, moving on to the first affirmative argument, which is my point, which is safety and security needs of an individual. Now, my point, which is being in a smaller family can fulfill these security needs better. How? I'm talking about the body. What are safety needs, gentlemen? I'm talking about the safety of the body, the safety of the resources, the family, and the employment. Why? Why does a smaller family fulfill the safety and security needs better? In a smaller family, ladies and gentlemen, there are fewer members. Therefore, it is only logical to say that the resources needed to fulfill these needs would definitely be less than in bigger families, ladies and gentlemen. It is common sense. Based on the 2013 Household Income Survey done again by the Ministry of Women, Family and Community Development, the average income of a family in Malaysia is 5,000 ringgit. Saying this, the cost of raising a child per month is is 1,000 ringgit. Imagine what would happen if we further add other expenditures such as mortgages, electricity bill and medical health care, gentlemen. The more the family members, the more the expenditures, gentlemen. Therefore, the more stress exerted on them, gentlemen. Let's not forget, 1,000 per month. The cost of raising a child, gentlemen, is no small sum, gentlemen. It is not a negligible amount of sum, gentlemen. Therefore, we argue it is vital in the provision of security of gentlemen. A simple analogy: when every other factors are equal and the only variable is the size, which is about to this debate, gentlemen, one big and one small. Clearly, the smaller family will have a better chance at faring and fulfilling the needs economically. One, because they have less amount of members, they will fit less amount of members. Better than big amount of members, gentlemen. They have more in bigger families. They have more mouths to feed, more people to take care of. We on side government have defined a smaller family as 4 members or less, 2 parents, 2 child at most. Look at this mathematically, gentlemen. The expenditure of 2 children sums up 2,000 per month. The average income is 5,000 per month. Taking into account the expenditures of the parents themselves, there is a substantial amount of around 2,000 ringgit per month. These resources in turn could be used to satisfy families materially and make comfort more comfortable, thus making smaller families happier. Given the same amount of resources, a bigger family has more expenditures compared to smaller family, thus making material satisfaction lesser. Therefore, smaller families are generally more fulfilled, more satisfied. Therefore, it is more happier, gentlemen. That's why this motion should always stand. Now, next to the security of body, the next part of my speech, to security of body and physical safety, gentlemen. In a small family, there are fewer members for the parents to look after and protect. In a small family, the parents can concentrate on focusing and securing the physical safety of their children better, because they can better control, monitor the whereabouts and activities of their children. Thus, they can know what their children do, with whom they do it. This monitoring provides physical safety for the child, provides a fulfill it better, gentlemen. Therefore, it is better, it is happier, it is easier for smaller families to fulfill this need than bigger families, gentlemen. Now, moving on, in a larger family, it can be done too, but with lesser efficiency. It will be harder. Why? Because the parents have more members to keep their eye on. Imagine having to keep your eye on 10 to 15 children. How much attention can you give to each children, gentlemen? Thus, smaller families create a safer environment, satisfying the need of protection, thus proving this motion right, ladies and gentlemen. To the next part, security of employment. In a small family, gentlemen, with less children, the parents can concentrate on their work better, because the attention spent on their children will be less. Therefore, they will be better in their work life, a better quality. In a bigger family, gentlemen, they have to juggle 2 big responsibilities at once between work and their children. Therefore, the quality spent on both sectors won't be good, gentlemen. Now, I would like to wrap up my speech with a quote, a paraphrase from a famous quote. A point in needs is a point in need, gentlemen. Therefore, smaller family can provide their needs better, making this motion right, that smaller families are happier families. With that, I rest my case. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to Mr. Adam, esteemed timekeeper, fair and square educators, teachers, our worthy opponents, my precise teammates, and of course, members of the forum. The motion for our debate is smaller families are happier families. We of the opposition believe that this is not true. But before we come to our actual argument, let us first define the motion first. According to the Oxford Dictionary, smaller means of limited size or below average. Family means a group consisting of 2 parents and their children living together as a unit of people related by blood. And happier means more delighted, more pleased, or more glad. In a nutshell, in our case, the motion means limited size of families with 1 or 2 children bring delighted feelings to those families. We, from the opposition team, strongly disagree with this motion because we strongly believe that smaller families are not necessarily happier families. I repeat, we strongly believe that smaller families are not necessarily happier families.
So I should record this one?
Ladies and gentlemen, before going any further to my